we try not to make light of it, but every now and then we're like, can you believe we just, like, we're still married through this? Like, it's been really, really hard, honestly. Hi friends, welcome to my channel. This is a bit of an impromptu one-taker with a little life update because I realize in the last few weeks I've done a lot of week in the life vlogs, and so you've been getting information like here and there about what's been happening in the life and times of yours truly, but not like a let's talk about it. So where to begin? First and foremost, let me just give you a little update on Dean. So as you may or may not know, my husband Dean is a pilot and has been one for many, many years. And we moved back to Canada about, Jack is he's 7, so 6 years ago. This is our 6th winter, I suppose, yeah. So he took a job and he started a new job in March of 2020. And oh my God, I only laugh because otherwise I'm just gonna cry, honestly. So he started his ground school in March, or if not, like just at the end of February, and then March 13th, like the world shut down, right? So he's been on furlough since maybe like the spring of 2020 and hasn't returned to work since. To say that the last 18, 20 months, whatever it's been now, have been challenging is like my little eye just starts to twitch. I don't know if I can ever recall a more difficult time, honestly. So deep breath. Here we are in November and we received an email that's talking about him returning to work. There still is not a set date. Which is really disappointing and frustrating. And I know that we're not the only people who are impacted by this, but I have to say that probably the most difficult part is that I'm not the type of person to complain about my life, which I think you could probably tell from some of the content I make. It's just not my jam. I don't like to live in that space. But I feel anger that so much of the world is back to normal, but there's this pocket of people who work in tourism and travel that it's not back to normal and our lives are on pause until it returns back to normal. But everything else, I still have to pay for my house, I still have to pay for all of these things. So it's been, without sharing all of the things but still being vulnerable, because I find it so uncomfortable to talk about. It's been really hard. It's been a really hard season for that. And ultimately, it's a hard season for my marriage. Like, it's just really hard. I heard Brene Brown talking recently on her podcast about her being in a really difficult season of her marriage, and she's been married for 20 years or 21 years or something. Dean and I have been together since I was 20, so we've been together for 17 years, and we've been married for 11 years. And we don't we try not to make light of it, but every now and then we're like, can you believe we just, we're still married through this? Like, it's been really, really hard, honestly. So much has shifted. I can link some videos below where you can actually see the shift where, Dean and I have to figure out how to do life now that I'm the one who's the primary earner. And so I had to go into real serious overdrive for work, and then he was taking on all these domestic duties that he always did before, but not to that degree. It was usually 50-50 because we were both working, right? So you see this shift, you see the frustration, you see all of that stuff, and that's bound to show up behind the scenes in real people's lives, and that's not something I ever showcase on camera. So I don't have news. Dean and I are still married. But it's not the easiest time. So I guess the reason I'm sharing that is that if you are too feeling stuck and waiting for life to resume, and you're not alone, is really what I want to share. I need that message from time to time, and I think it's important that people who do what I do share this message too. It's not all, perfectly filtered photos and smiling children. There have been some wild times. So that's the big heaviness, right, of my update. The rest is pretty delightful. Here's the delightful news. Dean has taken a part-time job. So when we realized, okay, here we are in fall of 2021 and there was still no news, we'd had a plan that he would take on some sort of part-time job. So now, as you know, and I'll get to this in a second, but Dean and I started a candle business in 2020. 21. So there was a thing happening there, but more on that in a minute. So a friend of mine has a company, her husband has a company where they work on these really nice detergents and things, and they have a factory. And so Dean is kind of doing like a jack of all trades because he's handy as heck. And so he is helping out my friend and working part-time and actually really enjoying it. So it's really nice to see Dean be able to leave the house, engage with people, have purpose in another area, because there's so much importance, or how do I phrase this? It's so important for us to feel like we have a purpose and that we have a value, especially in our work. I am a very work-oriented person, and I know that Dean is the same, and I'm not trying to speak for him because he did share in a vlog recently, which I'll link, about this new gig. But it's important. It's important to see your partner doing better, and so I'm really grateful for him to have this opportunity. And it's definitely another transition because we went from it falling all on Dean, right, at the start of all of this, and me working, and then him doing all the cooking and all of that, and now it's flipped back where he's adjusting to these new hours and managing the candle business, and I'm trying to help out more with cooking and cleaning and ordering groceries and all of that kind of stuff. So we're a team, and we're committed to the main goal, right? And so we're making it happen, but it's just another little change, Speaking of the candle business, so if you didn't know, we launched a candle business in 2021 called Hello Friendo. Friendo Apothecary is the candle line, and we just launched 3 new scents, which I have on my desk. I'll show you. I happen to have them on my desk because I was just shooting content for them. So you have Santa Sleigh, and I'm not saying this to push it. You guys do not have to buy my candles, okay? You don't have to. Watch my videos. That's what I prefer. Watch my videos, follow my social, but if you are in the market for a candle, Santa's Sleigh, we only have a few left, and once they're gone, they're gone. They're selling out real fast. Tannenbaum, one of my favorites. I love that Christmas tree smell, okay? And then this one, which is Fairies and Sugar Plums, a bit more on the sweet side. But anyway, so we have those candles. Dean's been busy. He cooks them up, he creates them, he comes up with the scents, he makes the labels, he does all of it. And I help with the social media side of it and sharing it with you guys and bringing it to life, right? Again, a team effort, and it's been very successful, and we've been selling out, which is wonderful. So if you've purchased a candle, thank you so much. But like I said, no pressure, okay? No pressure. But that's been keeping Dean busy, and it's wonderful. Another thing to update you on is my kids. So my kids have been part of my channel for a long time, but they've always been, like the little color that sprinkles in. They're not the main focus. And as they get older, they are more and more involved in their own lives, and less part of my channel, although they do love it. Gives me a little bit of street cred, right? Having a YouTube mom, it's pretty cool. But they're both doing incredible. They are back at school with in-person learning. I have no issue with them wearing masks. They're not bothered by wearing the masks. I don't even think they notice. They do really enjoy their outdoor time though at school, because then that's when they're allowed to take the masks off. But just the little things, like it was Remembrance Day yesterday here in Canada on November 11th, and Jack had come home with some artwork, and he had done like this beautiful picture with poppies, and he was so proud of it. And it was so nice to see that, because every now and then I'm reminded of the guilt that I carried last year with them being home and not knowing if that was the right decision, because everything was so uncertain, and feeling so bogged down by the heaviness of what I couldn't do for them in terms of helping supplement their schoolwork and their education and help like have fun with it. I just did not have the time. And it's so nice to see them excelling and making friends. And I love it. Our house has kind of become the fun house. So the kids kind of all pile in here. Not so much Jack's friends because they're still little, although I'm trying to organize a bit of a play date for him and his best buddy that lives around the corner here. But Esme's friends, being the ages of 9 and 10, they're all here, they're all at one other house, and they're just living their best, child lives. And I am just so happy. It brings me so much joy. In terms of myself, like mental health stuff, I think it is top of mind for a lot of people this time of year. Seasonal stuff. I have really felt the shift in the last 2 weeks. We also do the time change situation, which is, why do we do that? Why? so ridiculous. Anyways, so I feel like I've been dragging my feet for the last 2 weeks. I looked at, on the Peloton, it shows me like when I've worked out, and I've only worked out like 5 times in the past 2 weeks. I did do a serious amount of yard work last weekend, so we're gonna count that as a workout. Not that I'm trying to win some medal for how often I work out, but I know I feel better. I worked out yesterday, I felt better last night. I need to do more of that. So that's happening there. I'm still taking my daily medication for anxiety, and I definitely see an improvement from this time last year. I felt so much more overwhelmed. I didn't feel like there was a lot of lightness in my life. And right now I do feel that. I do find that I have a pretty good system in place where, I'm taking care of myself. I'm working on a healthy nighttime routine. I go to bed relatively early every night, for me anyway, and I feel great for it. I'm getting those like 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, which is making a huge difference. And so, I often need a reminder this time of year, like, don't forget to get some sunlight. And if you don't get the real light, get yourself one of those little lamps that like shoot, bright light into your eyeballs and help you feel better. So if you feel like you're struggling too, just a little reminder that there are things that can help you out there. Vitamin D, good sleep, some sunshine, and artificial light certainly helps a lot. So, and then I guess the last little part of my update is Friendo, my podcast, recently had an overhaul. It had a little facelift, and also has partnered up with Curious Cast, which is a division of Chorus Entertainment, and I'm very proud of it. I'm working with an incredible team over at Curious Cast who helped me with the audio production and, creating just the producing the show, elements of production, and helping me work with partners on the show, which allows me to generate more income, which, as you know, it having been a really trying time for the last 20 months, especially with primarily one income, I'm really grateful for those opportunities. And so you may have heard a commercial for Friendo if you're in Canada, especially if you're in Ontario. I have a Friendo ad on the actual radio. It was highlighted in Apple Podcasts. It might still be there. Let me see. Now I know in Apple Podcasts, it varies like from country to country who they feature. If you click on your browse feature, it says stuff like new season and featured. Actually, that's a really great podcast, The Shrink Next Door. But here it is, Friendo. It says new season, conversation among friends. And if you click on it, you can hit follow. You tap your 3 buttons at the top and it says follow show. I follow my own show, of course. And right now I have 3 episodes. We have the first one was with my friend and guest, Julie Nolke, who is an incredible YouTuber, hilarious. We talk about, how she stays hungry and builds her creativity in the wake of her viral success. I also speak with a friend of mine, Andrea Bucket, about how not to hate cooking for your family. She's hilarious. She really keeps it real with food prep and how to have fun with it, even when she gets tired of it. And then most recently this week, I spoke with a woman who basically is like breaking the glass ceiling in the tech industry. She was pregnant with 2 little boys at home and was working on her very own tech startup, which she built and launched. And it's just like, what? How did she do that? Incredible conversation. And this week, as you're watching right now, it's Tuesday. So on Thursday, there's going to be another episode, and I'll just give you a sneak peek because why not? My guest is a naturopath, and she talks all about bridging her work as a naturopathic doctor and her Indigenous heritage and culture and how she melds the two. And very fascinating, so much support for women in the work that she does. And then Dean and I, because part of the episodes, it's broken up where I have an interview with a guest, Dean and I debrief, and then I share favorites of the week, like I go solo. And Dean and I tackle in this week's episode the concept of becoming invisible as you get older, and how especially women as they age, it's like all of a sudden we're supposed to just like disappear if we don't look like we're 22 anymore. And I'm fascinated with this concept. It's just so fascinating. Very much inspired by an interview with model Polina Porshkova. I will link it below or in the eye here because it's like mind-blowing. Anyway, that is a tiny update with me. I thought I would sit down with you and just share this before the chaos of the holidays roll in and let you know that, when you guys support my videos, especially when there's a brand partnership, it means the world to me. It allows me to continue to work and show up in the way that I do. Because as you know, as creators, not every post is paid for. Not every post is income generating. And so the ones that are really help me and support me and my family. And I don't often get to say thank you for that. And so I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for your support of my content, for commenting on my videos and on my photos and listening to the podcast and buying a candle when you can. It really goes a long way. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Much love from me to you. And I'll catch you on Thursday with another week in the life. Bye guys.